Hello, big folks. It's Pastor Mike again with another new topic. I believe last Wednesday I talked about the book on influenza that was written by John Barry. I wrote an email to the author, and he and I got into an exchange of emails, and he recommended that I also read this book of his, Roger Williams and the Creation of the American Soul, Church, State, and the Birth of Liberty. Wow, Now, I probably at one time, maybe even grade school, was told about Roger Williams, but I've long since lost track of what I learned. So this is all new to me. Roger Williams. He was a brilliant guy, and he did shorthand for some of the really powerful lawyers, speakers in Parliament back in Britain. But, or England, I guess, as it was called then. But Williams was also a very passionate Puritan. And the English government was coming down really hard on the Puritans, really hard. And so the Puritans weren't just making a thoughtful decision, let's go to America. They were being harassed and imprisoned and worse in some cases. So Williams took off with boatloads of other people to try and find a safe place where they could found a new place to live. And so the church was planted in New England, Massachusetts. The Massachusetts Bay Company started its church, and Williams eventually became associated with that church. But, as most of us have heard, the Puritans escaped tyranny in Britain, and then they kind of created it again in their own image once they came to America. So anyway, Williams objected that you needed to leave conscience alone. What you thought about God, what you thought about the faith, whatever, was up to you. And Williams was really against government getting involved in your faith. So he was kicked out and kicked out quite vigorously. In fact, he had to run for his life during a terrible snowstorm. He had been banished, so he couldn't go anywhere. And, anybody could kill him. So he's out in the woods, but thank goodness he had made friends with Native Americans. Anyway, the native peoples take him in. He already knew their language because he had worked on that. So he starts a new community, one where his way of thinking, freedom of conscience, the government not making laws about religion, it could be that kind of a free place. Well, I was reading and I found out, let's see, okay, I have trouble getting focus. Williams was creating a haven for those whose religious views had made them outcasts. Let's see if we can get that focus going. Here we go. So the separation of God from the civil state continued and slowly matured. Providence, the community he started turned into Providence, Rhode Island, would neither impose a religious test for voting, imagine that, nor would it require church attendance of those living there. This was a costly step since virtually every other government in England and New England collected significant revenues from fines on those who did not attend worship. Holy cow, our budget problems are solved. Kidding, just kidding. Yeah, wow. Yeah, can you imagine fining people in the community that don't go to church? Wow. Maybe today is a day to give gratitude for the freedom of religion. It was won by some very courageous people, and Roger Williams is one of them. So let's see, maybe today, just taking account of your thankfulness for the church, give thanks for this great church that we have here in Pierce County. God bless you, adults. Bye-bye.